Hello.
Hello, hello. It's Suzy Walker here, editor-in-chief at Psychologies, with the wonderful Psychologies columnist and coach Lucy Griffiths. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome. We are here to talk about inner transformation today. We are wanting to create a new world for ourselves. There's so much going on post-COVID. All the stuff that's been happening this week. We're going to be talking about the inner transformation that we need to want to make going forward. Lucy, we've been working very hard on a new course, which is being fantastic, called Love Your Life. And there's some building blocks to that course, aren't there? There's some things that we think are the basic foundation to creating a life that we love. And I know that you're our columnist and you're our introverted columnist, but I think this first step, which is stepping out of denial, can be quite a tough one for people, especially when you're, perhaps don't want to sort of step out and get out there and sort of make a stand and say, this is not good enough, I'm unhappy, all of those things. So how do we do that if you're feeling, I mean, as we're coming out of this post-COVID period, we're feeling a little bit, I don't know, it feels like coming out of hibernation, doesn't it? How do we take baby steps out of this weird and wonderful place that we've been in recently?
Well, it's really this thing that we have, regardless of where we are in our lives, that very often we're on the hamster wheel and we're just doing things because we need to do them. We're just on the treadmill of work, school, dropping the kids at school. And it's just, we just have to fly from one thing to the next thing. And having this pause, this break, this whatever we want to call it, this time, not always if you've got kids, she hastens to add, but this time has given a lot of people an opportunity to rethink the way they run their work, the way that they live, and to rethink what they like and what they don't like. And very often we are just comfortable in the discomfort. We're comfortable, we just keep doing it because it's just there and that's what we do. But this moment has given us an opportunity to press pause and say, do I actually want to be doing that anymore? Do I want to be living that kind of life? Do I want to be with that person, or whatever it may be? It's an opportunity to reframe how you want to live your life on your terms.
Yeah. I mean, I think, as you say, not everyone, we've had our wonderful keyboard workers on the front line working for us. As you say, an army of mothers out there and fathers, trying to manage the childcare, looking after their children. I'm in a canal boat, I'm in a canal boat locking down with my son. I mean, everyone has had their challenges around this lockdown. But as you say, whether you've been incredibly busy or slug-like in your response to what's been happening, it has been a chance to say, what do I want? And as coaches and as the editor of Psychology, it's very much a kind of, I always think of these things like an invitation. I'm a great fan of the hero's journey, the heroine's journey, which is about sort of saying, this needs to change. This is an invitation. What do we want to do differently? And I think these are the building blocks. But the first stage is always about stepping out of denial. It's actually saying, I think it's the hardest thing, is to say, you know what, I don't want this anymore. I want to create a new world, a new changes in my life. I really do. And I think often we're terrified of actually saying it because we know once it's out, we can't put it back in again. So I often say that the best way to do that is to, talk to a really, really good friend and say, what is it that I'm afraid of saying? If I was really brave right now, what would I say? I mean, people are saying they don't want to go back to commuting every day. Some people are saying that they don't want to be with their partner anymore, which is not so great. Some people are saying they love their partner and they want to spend more time with them. But it's just actually being able to articulate that, isn't it? Being able to say it out loud. What's the best coaching question that you can think to ask people, to ask them to step out of this kind of denial, out of their comfort zone, which will enable them to start building a vision for what's next?
I think really just enabling yourself to go within. So go for a big long walk, do meditation, yoga, whatever enables you to get that clarity of thought in that space, and to then be able to look within and say, you know, what do I really want? And sometimes you don't know what you want. You know something has to change, but you don't know what you want. And so sometimes you just have to go with what feels right and just keep being prepared to explore what feels right. Does this feel right? Does that feel right? And allowing yourself that space. And even if you say to yourself, right, I'm going to give myself 3 hours and I'm just going to really have that time of exploration. And it's amazing what you can achieve when you switch off your phone, when you allow yourself to have that space where you aren't distracted by whatever's going on, and you're just focused on you and what you want, and giving yourself that gift of clarity of thought to enable you to make decisions, or not even make decisions, but start baby step tiptoeing out towards that new way of thinking. Then you can make the big leap.
Yeah. I mean, I think that exploration is actually right. And that's why I love coaching. And, you know, it's Psychologies, we're a massive fan of coaching, which is working on your life rather than being in it. I mean, you know, we're all reacting constantly to all the incoming. And right now there's a lot. We're overwhelmed with the messages that we're being getting. And you're absolutely right. Allowing that time and space to think, hang on, what is it that I don't want? Well, you know, what am I in denial about? And say, this is what I don't want anymore. I don't know what I do want yet. So, you know, I talk about creating a big vision. It's like creating a big vision for your life, a kind of what would, if you didn't have anything, you know, to stop you, what would your life look like? What would the world look like? And I think if you can combine the two of thinking, this is what I don't want, and then thinking, you know, what I really want to create without any sort of, you know, because most of us will go, oh, I can't do that. That's not possible for me. I'm not good enough. I'm not clever enough. The world isn't like this, or whatever it is. But just to give yourself the space to kind of go, wow, this is, you know, if I couldn't fail, this is what I would create. And I think those two beside each other, saying what you don't want and then saying what I really want is this, I think it's an incredibly powerful combination. And in all of my coaching that I've had for myself, and then working with my clients and working with the readers of Psychologies, that is it. I think that the tension between the two creates this amazing vacuum, doesn't it, to change things?
Because you need to know what you don't want in order to say, right, enough is enough. I'm drawing a line in the sand, to then be prepared. You have to be so uncomfortable in your discomfort rather than just being comfortable in it. You have to say, I know I can't do the commute anymore, or I can't do this job anymore, or whatever it may be, that I have to make that leap. And it's only when often things aren't enough of a pull, you need to be pushed. And, you know, often people see sort of redundancy as, even though it's traumatic and upsetting at the time, actually it's a gift, because it forces you to do the things that you want to do, start a new career, start a business, whatever it may be. And it's those moments that are most challenging when we have personal growth. When Martin Seligman talks about post-traumatic growth rather than PTSD, post-traumatic disorder, we actually have something where we leap forward, and we make, in the most challenging times, we leap forward. And so, you know, COVID has been challenging for many, many people. But actually, we can see that there are these pockets of opportunity that we can take from it, where we can say, you know what, I've learned so much about myself and what I do want and what I don't want. And now I'm ready to make that leap forward, or start gearing up to make the big leap.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think, as you say, the opportunity piece and post-traumatic growth, rather than, you know, the opposite of learning how to thrive despite the crisis. It's so, you know, that's what what we're all about at Psychologies, in a way, which is this idea of life can be really hard. And, you know, we can lose people that we love. There can be incredible challenges. And what I find, I think what we do at Psychology is we talk about hope a lot, because we believe the hope lies in, well, it starts with that peace in ourselves, you know, like, okay, I can't bear this any longer and I'm going to make a change. And I mean, what I find so inspiring every day is seeing our lovely, amazing readers go, I can't do this anymore, but I'm going to do this instead. And they find that inner strength. And I know that transformation, that I don't know, that courage, isn't it, to do something differently. And I think, you know, if anything, all the troubles that are happening right now, it is for us all to sort of dig deep, to go within and to go, okay, and there's a lot of things I can't control, but what can I control? And I think our inner world is a really kind of a place where you can create changes. I mean, for me as a coach, you know, my God, I've been with self-development for 30 years, and it kind of, I mean, I know it sounds dramatic, but I would say, you know, it saved my life in those points where you're just in the darkest place and you think there is no one to help, no one going to, you know, to rescue you. You learn to rescue yourself. And if anything, that was one of the strongest, best lessons I've ever learned, which was learn how to rescue yourself. And the self-development tools and coaching, and you know, there are some basic tools that if we can all learn will just help you to start climbing out of the pit of despair that often we find ourselves in to no fault of our own, you know, because terrible things happen in the world. Yeah,
absolutely.
So yeah. So Lucy, for I know we haven't got long, but just to sort of sign off before we go, I know we've been creating a course called Love Your Life, so you know, lots of great tools there. I'll leave the link below. But Lucy, what is your kind of best tip for people listening to this broadcast around kind of surviving and thriving, you know, as we come out of this kind of this very troubled moment in history? What's the best thing we can do for ourselves right now to sort of inch our way out?
I think having that the personal journey where you accept that everything's not perfect right now, and there are lots of things that you cannot control, but actually what you can control is the way you perceive the world and the way that you want to be perceived. And so, you know, it's you, that's what you can control. And so if that means you know, managing your anxiety, your thoughts by journaling every day, doing something like a gratitude journal, you know, writing down 3 things you're grateful for every day has such potency. And you know, I do this with my 5-year-old son, and even on the days when, you know, everything is going on, actually it's so lovely just to reconnect with the things you're grateful for, and it can really shift your thinking. So that's a really easy way to get yourself where you're feeling like you might be really anxious and worried, but this can really help you. And it's something you could do with your children, with anyone in your life, where actually by having that connection, but looking at something positive, what went well in the day, and then also reframing the things that didn't go so well in your day, so you can see them, find that silver lining in the thing that was not so good.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's a really good habit to have. I mean, I think I've done that forever, you know, from the beginning of time. I've been writing those kind of gratitude lists. I mean, tomorrow, I'm really excited. Tomorrow we are interviewing Julia Cameron, who is the Artist's Way, who is a founder of the Artist's Way, who's absolutely brilliant. Yeah. And you know, she sort of created this whole thing around, you know, doing three pages a day of your kind of dumping your thoughts and getting everything out there. So it's a kind of almost like a meditation. So that's happening at 8:30 tomorrow, which is really great. But what I would say is, for me, you know, yeah, I know it's exciting, but when you are really struggling, sometimes I can't kind of find the positive thoughts. You know what I mean? You can be so grumpy or so kind of knocked by something. And for me, it's like watching great inspirational videos. So, you know, the TED Talks, we've got lovely Psychologies TV. I mean, I'm very privileged because I get to talk to all these amazing experts all the time. But, you know, being able to share all that, and then you just may hear one piece of wisdom that can completely change your life, that can transform your life. So, you know, it's always constantly reaching for wisdom. I mean, I'm like heat-seeking missile looking for wisdom. Where is it? You know, who's talking about it? So yeah. So Lucy, thank you so much for your time today. Lovely to see you. We've got some, I have created a series of courses as while we've been in lockdown, trying to find ways to support our Psychologies readers. So do look at the link below. Love Your Life, a series of courses to help you improve your life with all the basic tools of coaching, which is really good. Lucy, thank you so much for your time today. Lots of love, and speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.